Hi, I'm Bill Savage. In this quick tip session, I'm going to show you how the tonic and dominant chord scale patterns may be played from one position, the A chord shape, and how this simple improvisational device is easy to understand and to use. This session is in the key of E major, and I'll be using the tonic chord E and the dominant chord B7. I'll begin with a review of the three scale patterns I will be using in this session. I start with the open E scale. By placing the B note on the 3rd string 4th fret, we can play a 5-note E chord scale pattern from the A shape. We have B, C sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, E. Now let's look at the B7 chord scale pattern played from the A shape. We have B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A, B. These two chord scale patterns share 4 common tones: F sharp, G sharp, B, and C sharp. This is a great asset when creating riffs. By altering one note, we can play the same scale pattern over both chords. When playing the E B7 chord scales from the A shape, I like to keep my 3rd finger planted on the B note 3rd string. This note is common to both chords. This placement allows for a very smooth finger movement across both scales. Now let's look at the E chord tones playable from the A shape. I have B, B, E. Then I can have B, C sharp, E. I can have B, B, F sharp, or I can have B, B, G sharp. All by keeping that 3rd finger planted on that B note. Now let's look at the B7 chord tones playable from the A shape. This is the B chord. I have B, D sharp, F sharp. I can play B, C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A. All playable from the A shape, B chord. When I take this pattern and I add an E note, I'm playing an E chord. E defines the E chord. So all these tones work over that E chord shape. Now if I put a D sharp on this, I have the B7 chord. That D sharp defines that chord. You cannot play a D sharp against an open E string. So if I keep the D sharp off and I use the open E, I have an E pattern. If I put the D sharp with the B, then I have to add the F sharp. Back to E. Now let's put this concept into practice with a series of exercises. This exercise demonstrates how simple it is to move between the B7 and E chords. By keeping my 3rd finger planted on the note B, 3rd string, I can play this exercise without any hand movement. I like to play double 8th notes, 2 notes on each beat. For that reason, from this position, I often play a double B note. It just makes the picking sequence more natural. If I did not want to use that double B note, I would put the C sharp on the 2nd string. Then, to make the picking sequence come out in 4/4 time, I would make that 1st note a quarter note. Now either way would be correct. I'll begin this exercise by holding the B chord triad. This is another variation. In this exercise, I play a 3-measure riff: E, B7, back to E. Now these are the notes of the E chord riff. These are the notes of the B7 riff. So now let's hear what it sounds like up to speed. This exercise is a straight single note riff leading up to the 7th note A at the 5th fret and then back down to the open E. In this exercise I work with the basic open string B7 chord. And I'll work with the top 3 strings. You have A, B, F sharp, and I add a G sharp. Very simple to play across those 2 chords. In this exercise I simply add a little variation to that riff. I encourage you to work with this information. Sit down and experiment with it. Find out how these notes go together. Remember to create your own riffs so that you can create spontaneously when you're playing in a group. That concludes this quick tip session. For the Visual Guitarist, I'm Bill Savage.